Welcome back to the deep dive. I'm incredibly glad you are joining us today. Whether you're commuting, prepping for a big strategic meeting, or just hanging out at home, we have a discussion queued up that gets right to the heart of the digital economy as it stands today. And frankly, it's a topic that demands our immediate attention if we want to stay competitive. We are looking at a stack of incredibly detailed research, market analyses, and boots on the ground case studies regarding the current state of artificial intelligence in the freelance and entrepreneurial space. The sheer pace of innovation over the last few years hasn't just been fast, it has fundamentally rewired how independent professionals operate.
It absolutely has, and it is a pleasure to be here with you and with our listener today. We are well past the initial shock and awe phase of these technologies. The landscape has shifted, the dust is settling, and now we're looking at the new baseline of how digital commerce actually functions in real time.
Okay, let's unpack this. Today's deep dive is based on a structured, highly pragmatic framework exploring the 10 AI tools that can make you money in 2026. We are going to examine writing, design, marketing, video creation, automation, coding, analytics, chatbots, research, and productivity. Now, if you follow the tech space, you already know what these tools do on a technical level. You know that large language models can write and image generators can render. But today, we are going completely under the hood of the business models.
That is exactly the mandate. Let's define our mission for today right out of the gate, because we need to separate the signal from the noise. If you've been operating in the digital space over the last couple of years, you're probably exhausted by the general sweeping hype around the so-called AI economy.
Oh, completely. It's everywhere.
Right. You hear people talking about AI businesses in these broad, almost mystical terms, as if, plugging an API into a website suddenly makes you a millionaire. Our mission today is to rigorously bypass that fluff. We are looking at the exact tangible monetization strategies for these 10 specific categories. How are independent professionals, solo entrepreneurs, and freelancers turning these capabilities into actual revenue streams today? And how does that blueprint project into the end of 2026? I want to uncover the so what for you. What is the underlying business logic that makes these tools profitable rather than just impressive?
That is the critical distinction. It's one thing to understand the neural network architecture of a generative model. It's an entirely different discipline to use that model to build a sustainable, scalable service business. We want to know how you, the listener, can actually apply this. So let's start by setting the stage with section 1. Why AI tools are changing online income.
To understand the application of specific tools, we first have to look at the macro environment. The source framework identifies 4 massive pillars driving this economic shift. First, we have automation. Second, content creation. Third, personal productivity. And fourth, the rise of truly global, borderless digital businesses. These 4 pillars are fundamentally altering the unit economics of being an entrepreneur.
Let's drill down into that phrase, unit economics, because I think it's the crux of the whole transition. When I look at the capabilities of these models, I see software that is actively handling multi-layered, complex workflows that previously required distinct human specialists. We aren't just talking about a spell checker. We are talking about systems that can draft the copy, format the layout, analyze the demographic targeting, and deploy the asset.
Right, and that completely inverts the traditional business math. Let's look at what unit economics actually means in this context. It's the direct revenues and costs associated with a particular business model expressed on a per-unit basis. Historically, if you wanted to start a digital marketing agency, your barrier to entry was human capital. You needed to hire a junior copywriter, a graphic designer, perhaps a data analyst, and an administrative assistant.
That is a lot of salaries to pay.
Exactly. That meant payroll, healthcare, office space, management overhead, and a massive burn rate before you even secured your first big client.
You essentially needed venture capital or a massive business loan just to have the operational output required to compete.
Precisely. What this technology has done is drastically lower those barriers to entry. It levels the playing field in a way that is historically unprecedented. If you are a solo entrepreneur listening right now, your overhead is no longer tied to a growing headcount. Your overhead is a handful of monthly software subscriptions. You can achieve the operational output, the sheer velocity of deliverables of a 15-person agency while remaining a company of 1.
I want you, the listener, to consider your own daily workflow for a moment. Think about the friction involved in taking an idea from conception to execution. The drafting, the back and forth revisions, the data sorting, the time spent waiting for other departments to deliver their piece of the puzzle. That friction is dissolving. The distance between having a viable business idea and deploying a market-ready service is shorter than it has ever been.
It is. But the caveat is that you have to know which levers to pull. Not all AI tools serve the same business function, and treating them as a monolith is a surefire way to fail. That's why the framework categorizes them. We need to look at the front end, the operations, and the intelligence layer separately.
Which gives us a perfect transition into section 2, monetizing the front end. We are looking at the first 3 tool categories: writing, design, and marketing. These are the external-facing tools that generate the assets the end consumer actually interacts with. Let's look at category 1, AI writing tools. Now, we all know the tech has evolved from those clunky, keyword-stuffed generators of the early 2020s. We are dealing with models that understand deep semantic context, brand voice, and structural pacing. But the business side of this is where it gets tricky, right?
It is the biggest trap in the current freelance market.
Yeah.
If you try to build a business where your core value proposition is simply, I will use AI to generate text for you, you're going to go out of business within a month.
Because your clients have the exact same access to ChatGPT or Claude or whatever tool you were using, why would they pay you to type a prompt?
Exactly. The secret to monetization here, the blueprint that the most successful independent professionals are following, is that they are not selling the text itself. They are packaging the text as a high-value business outcome. They are selling highly specialized copywriting for sales funnels, rapid deployment of corporate newsletters, or most commonly, high-volume SEO services.
Let's define SEO briefly for the listener who might be adjacent to the marketing space but not in the weeds of it. Search engine optimization. The practice of increasing the quantity and quality of traffic to a website through organic search engine results.
Right, and SEO relies heavily on consistent, high-quality, authoritative content that answers specific questions people are searching for. In the past, writing 30 well-researched, keyword-optimized articles a month would take a freelance writer hundreds of hours. They had to charge a massive premium, which priced out a lot of small, local businesses.
So how does the AI-powered freelancer disrupt that?
By transitioning from the role of the writer to the role of the editor-in-chief and strategist. Let's take a local network of dental clinics. They need local SEO to rank when someone searches for Invisalign specialist near me. You, the freelancer, use AI writing tools to generate the heavy lifting, the structural drafts, the baseline information.
Right.
But your human expertise is applied in the curation. You inject the clinic's specific brand voice, you fact-check the medical claims, you structure the internal linking, and you ensure it actually reads well.
You are utilizing the tool for velocity, but your brain for quality control.
Exactly. Because your time investment per article has plummeted from 5 hours to perhaps 45 minutes, you can service 5 times the number of clients. You charge that dental network a very reasonable monthly retainer, say $1,500 a month, which is a no-brainer for them. But because you can handle 10 of these clients simultaneously without burning out, your personal profit margins are astronomical. You are selling the result of SEO visibility, not the raw text.
That pivot from creator to editor actually maps perfectly onto the visual side of things too. Which brings us to category 2, AI design tools. We've all seen the Midjourney or DALL-E generations flooding social media. We know the baseline is that anyone can prompt a hyper-realistic image in 10 seconds. But again, from a business perspective, the money isn't in selling a standalone AI image, is it?
No, the standalone digital art market is incredibly saturated. There are niches where people sell digital asset packs, stock textures, concept art for indie game developers. But the truly lucrative B2B path is utilizing these tools for rapid UI/UX prototyping or operating a lean graphic design agency.
UI/UX, user interface and user experience. Essentially how an app or a website looks and how logically a user navigates through it.
Correct. Let's look at the traditional friction of graphic design. A client comes to you wanting a complete brand overhaul, new logos, new website layout, new color palettes. Historically, you would take their brief, disappear for 2 or 3 weeks, and come back with 3 distinct mood boards to present. It was a slow, agonizing process of revisions.
And if they hated all 3 mood boards, you were back to square one, burning unbillable hours.
Exactly. The monetization strategy for 2026 completely subverts that timeline. Now, you sit on a live Zoom call with the client. You share your screen, you take their verbal feedback, and immediately type prompts into an AI design tool, generating 50 variations of a mood board in real time. You want it more brutalist, let's add that. You want a warmer color palette? Done. Yeah. You are tweaking styles based on their live, split-second feedback.
That is a massive paradigm shift. You are essentially selling the facilitation of their own imagination live on the call.
You are selling speed, iteration, and alignment. By the end of a 2-hour consultation, you have the exact visual direction locked in. You then use other AI tools to vectorize those concepts and build out the UI layouts. You can deliver a final polished brand package in a fraction of the traditional time. This allows you as a solo operator to take on enterprise-level contracts without needing to hire a team of junior designers to do the grunt work of iterating shapes and colors. Your overhead remains practically zero.
The theme really is velocity. And nowhere is that velocity more apparent than in category 3, AI marketing tools. From a technical standpoint, the way these platforms can ingest a massive CSV file of consumer data, synthesize it, and deploy targeted campaigns is staggering. They can spot purchasing trends in oceans of data that would take a human analyst months to process.
And that capability empowers the individual professional to adopt a very specific, highly lucrative business model known as the fractional CMO, Chief Marketing Officer.
Let's unpack the fractional CMO model for the listener, because that sounds like a corporate buzzword, but it's actually a very practical freelance structure.
The fractional CMO is an experienced marketing executive who works with businesses on a part-time retainer basis rather than being a full-time W-2 employee. Now, to be a highly effective CMO in the past, you needed an army behind you. You needed data analysts to read the metrics, media buyers to physically go into ad platforms and adjust the bids, and copywriters to A/B test the ads.
Let's clarify A/B testing real quick. That's the process of running 2 or more variations of an ad or a web page simultaneously to see which one performs better with the target audience, right?
Exactly. You change the headline or the image or the call to action button, and you let the data tell you which version gets more clicks or sales. Doing that manually at scale across Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, and TikTok is incredibly labor-intensive. It was terribly expensive. Today, an individual armed with a stack of AI marketing tools can offer that exact same enterprise-level multi-channel management to small and medium-sized businesses.
Because the AI is actively serving as the media buyer, the data analyst, and the A/B testing copywriter?
Precisely. You set the overarching strategy and the budget parameters. The AI tools generate hundreds of ad variations, deploy them, monitor the live engagement metrics, and automatically shift the budget away from failing ads and toward winning ads in real time.
So let's talk real numbers here. If you are approaching a mid-sized e-commerce brand,
You approach an e-commerce brand doing $2 million in revenue. They cannot afford to hire a full-time CMO for $150,000 a year, plus benefits, plus an ad agency retainer. You come in and offer your fractional CMO services for a $3,000 or $4,000 monthly retainer. You use AI tools to optimize their entire ad spend. Because the software is doing the heavy lifting of daily campaign optimization, you only need to spend a few hours a week managing that specific client. This means you can comfortably manage 10 of these clients simultaneously.
10 clients at $4,000 a month. You are building a $400,000 a year solo business, and your clients are thrilled because they are getting top-tier optimization at a fraction of agency costs. The front-end tools are fundamentally about scaling the output of the individual to match an entire creative department.
Exactly. But as powerful as the front end is, it's really just the surface layer.
Which transitions us perfectly into section 3. Heavy lifting and operations. We're looking at tools 4 through 7. Video, automation, coding, and analytics. This is where the real structural changes to businesses are happening, behind the scenes.
I agree completely. The front-end tools make the assets look pretty, but operations are where businesses actually live, scale, or die.
Let's start with category 4, video creation tools. Now, video has historically been the highest friction medium on the internet, but the current suite of tools automated editing that cuts to the beat of the music, AI avatars that are indistinguishable from real human spokespeople, and text-to-video capabilities where you script out a scene and the AI generates the B-roll, the voiceover, and the pacing. We are looking at the democratization of a medium that used to require studios.
And because video is traditionally the most expensive and time-consuming medium to produce, when you apply AI automation to it, the profit margins absolutely explode. The source material outlines 2 major distinct monetization paths here. The first is what's known as faceless YouTube channel automation.
I see this model discussed everywhere. Break down the mechanics of how this actually generates revenue.
For our listener who might be unfamiliar, this is an entrepreneurial model where you create YouTube channels in highly profitable evergreen niches, think personal finance, historical documentaries, or technology reviews without ever stepping in front of a camera. The workflow goes like this. You use an AI research and writing tool to synthesize a highly engaging script based on trending topics. You feed that script into an AI voiceover tool that generates a perfectly paced, natural-sounding narration. You then drop that audio into an AI video editor that automatically pulls relevant stock footage, adds kinetic typography captions, and mixes the background music.
So a process that used to take a dedicated YouTuber 3 days of filming and editing now takes you an afternoon.
Less than an afternoon. You can produce daily high-retention content at scale across multiple channels. You monetize purely through the YouTube Partner Program ad revenue, and eventually integrated sponsorships. It is a modern media company built on a laptop.
That's the consumer-facing side. But the source framework also highlights a B2B side for video, which feels a lot more immediate for a freelancer.
The B2B side is arguably more reliable and faster to monetize. We are talking about producing high-converting video ad creatives at scale for local businesses. Let's think about a local roofing company or a regional real estate brokerage. They know they need video content for TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts to stay relevant. But hiring a local videographer to come out, shoot footage, and edit 5 videos a month might cost them $3,000. It's too slow and too expensive.
So you walk in and offer a completely different model.
You offer them volume and speed. You take their existing static assets, photos of roofs they've fixed, property listings, and you use AI avatar tools to create a digital spokesperson. You use automated editors to create 30 short-form, highly engaging videos a month. You offer them this package for a flat retainer of, say, $1,500 a month. Your cost of goods sold is simply your software subscriptions and a few hours of your time assembling the pieces in the AI editor. You are solving a massive marketing pain point for local businesses at a price they can easily swallow while maintaining an incredibly high hourly rate for yourself.
That is a phenomenal business model. Moving from visual assets to the actual nervous system of business, let's look at category 5, automation tools. Now, I love this sector. This is the invisible plumbing. We're talking about platforms that use APIs to connect disparate software, your CRM, your email client, your accounting software, and set up complex conditional triggers so that workflows happen automatically.
Let's define CRM quickly. Customer relationship management software. It's the database a company uses to track their interactions with current and potential clients. Salesforce, HubSpot, things like that.
Right. And the automation tools act as the bridge. If a new lead fills out a form on the website, automatically create a new profile in the CRM, draft a personalized welcome email using a large language model, send that email, and ping the sales team on Slack, all without a human clicking a single button.
The monetization of this invisible magic, as you call it, is incredibly lucrative. It falls under business systems consulting or workflow optimization.
Who is the target demographic for that kind of consulting? Because tech startups already know how to do this.
Exactly. You don't sell this to Silicon Valley. You sell this to traditional, legacy, brick-and-mortar companies. Think of a medium-sized manufacturing company, a regional logistics firm, or a massive commercial plumbing operation doing $5 million a year in revenue. These companies are often highly profitable, but internally they are drowning in manual administrative bloat. They have employees whose entire 40-hour work week consists of copying and pasting information from a messy Excel spreadsheet into an outdated CRM and then manually emailing dispatchers. It's wildly inefficient, it's slow, and it is highly prone to human error.
So walk me through the pitch. You are the solo automation consultant. You get a meeting with the owner of that $5 million commercial plumbing company. How do you actually sell this?
You don't sell them AI. You sell them margin and time. You do an audit of their dispatch process. You say to the owner, right now, when an emergency call comes in, your dispatcher takes the details, hangs up, checks 3 different schedules, calls a technician, and then manually types up a quote. That process takes 25 minutes. I can build an automated AI workflow where a conversational voice agent takes the initial details, instantly cross-references your CRM for the client's history, checks the GPS location of your trucks, pings the nearest technician, and automatically texts a preliminary quote to the client within 30 seconds.
You are fundamentally changing their operational capacity.
Yes, and you charge accordingly. You charge a hefty upfront setup fee to build the architecture, say $15,000 to $20,000. And then, because software requires maintenance and occasional tweaking, you charge a $2,000 monthly retainer.
Let me push back here. If these no-code and low-code automation tools are becoming so user-friendly, why wouldn't that plumbing company owner just ask his IT guy or his savvy office manager to figure it out and save the 20 grand?
2 reasons. Risk and inertia. Legacy business owners are terrified of breaking systems that currently work, even if they work inefficiently. They don't want their office manager experimenting on their live customer database. They are paying the $20,000 for an expert who has done this 50 times to come in, guarantee the migration, and ensure 0 downtime. They are buying peace of mind and a massive reduction in future labor costs.
That makes total sense. It's the expertise of application, not just access to the tool. Which brings us to a massive paradigm shift in Category 6, coding tools. The rise of natural language coding and AI copilots is rewriting the rules of software development. You don't necessarily have to memorize complex syntax anymore. You can outline the logic, the architecture, and the desired outcome in plain English, and the AI generates the code, spots the bugs, and suggests security improvements.
This creates a fascinating two-pronged business opportunity in the market. Let's look at the non-technical founder first. Historically, if you had a brilliant idea for a SaaS product, software as a service, but you didn't know how to code, you were essentially locked out. You had to either find a technical co-founder willing to work for equity, or you had to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars to hire a development agency. It was a massive, often insurmountable barrier.
And now,
non-technical founders are using these AI coding assistants to launch functional MVPs entirely on their own.
MVP, minimum viable product. A version of a product with just enough features to be usable by early customers who can then provide feedback.
Exactly. They are building the MVP, deploying it to the market, testing their core assumptions, and even acquiring paying customers without spending a single dime on external developers. They are proving product market fit independently.
That completely democratizes software creation. But let me play devil's advocate for the actual highly skilled freelance developers out there. Doesn't this technology commoditize their skills and hurt their earning potential?
That is the great irony of this entire space. It actually allows them to make significantly more money. The source material points out that senior freelance developers are not being replaced by AI copilots. They're using them as extreme leverage. An experienced developer understands system architecture and security in a way a non-technical founder using an AI doesn't. So that developer uses the AI to handle all the boilerplate code, the routine functions, and the bug hunting. An application build that used to take them 3 months of grinding syntax now takes them 3 weeks.
Oh, I see. So they don't lower their project rate.
No. The client is paying for the finished application, not the hours spent typing. If a developer charges $30,000 for a build, and they can now complete that build in 3 weeks instead of 3 months, their annual earning capacity is skyrocketed. They can take on 5 times the number of clients a year. The tool supercharges the expert. It doesn't replace them.
Which is a perfect segue into Category 7, business analytics tools. This is perhaps one of the most overlooked areas for freelancers, but the value proposition is incredible. We are talking about the ability to literally chat with massive, complex data sets. You can upload chaotic financial logs, and instead of writing complex SQL queries, you interact conversationally.
Let's quickly define SQL and CSV, as they are the lifeblood of this category. CSV stands for comma-separated values. It's essentially a very raw, plain text spreadsheet. It's how databases export raw information. SQL stands for structured query language. It is the complex programming language historically required to communicate with databases and extract specific information.
Right, and learning SQL takes time. But now you can take a massive CSV file of an e-commerce store's sales history, upload it into an AI analytics tool, and type in plain English. Analyze this data and tell me what our most profitable product combination was in the Midwest during Q3, and graph the correlation between weather patterns and cart abandonment. And the AI delivers a high-level analysis and visual charts in seconds.
If we connect this to the broader economic picture, high-level data analysis used to be the exclusive domain of Fortune 500 enterprise companies. They were the only ones who could afford to keep a dedicated 6-figure data science team on payroll. But small and mid-sized businesses, especially e-commerce brands, doing anywhere from 2 to 10 million in revenue, they generate oceans of data every day. Customer lifetime value, churn rates, ad spend efficiency. But they don't have the personnel to analyze it. They're operating on gut feeling, leaving massive amounts of money on the table.
So the independent freelancer steps right into that gap.
Exactly. Freelancers are stepping in and offering fractional data consulting. You take their raw Shopify, Amazon, or local POS data, run it through these AI analytics tools, and you come back to the business owner with highly actionable, profit-driving insights. You say, based on the data, if you bundle product A with product B, you will increase your average cart value by 15%. Also, you are overspending on Google Ads by 30% on Tuesdays between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. with 0 conversions.
You are finding them immediate cost savings and hidden revenue opportunities.
You are acting as their entirely outsourced elite data science department. And you can command premium consulting fees, thousands of dollars a month. because the return on investment for the client is highly measurable. You find them $10,000 in ad waste, and your $3,000 fee pays for itself immediately.
I really want the listener to internalize this point. You do not need a PhD in statistics or a mastery of SQL to be a highly paid data consultant in 2026. You need to understand business logic, you need to know how to ask the AI the right questions, and you need to know how to communicate those answers to business owners in a way that drives their bottom line.
Well said. The value is in the translation of data to strategy.
Okay, let's keep this momentum going into section 4. Intelligence and scaling the self. We are covering the final 3 tools: chatbots, research, and productivity assistants. These are the tools that essentially give you, the individual, a digital brain trust. Let's start with category 8, AI chatbots. Now, I have to be clear here. We aren't talking about the frustrating, rigid decision tree chatbots from a few years ago that just trapped you in a loop and refused to let you talk to a human. We are talking about custom-trained, context-aware conversational agents built on large language models.
Exactly. The technology is known as RHAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. In simple terms, you can feed an AI all of the specific company's proprietary data, their past customer service emails, their internal training manuals, their entire product catalog, their return policies. The AI internalizes that specific knowledge base and can converse with a customer just like a highly knowledgeable veteran human employee would.
And this leads to one of the most direct and fascinating monetization strategies we've discussed today. The market here is building and leasing custom bots.
Leasing is the key word. It is a micro-SaaS model, micro-software as a service.
Let me push back on this model because I hear this pitched a lot. If OpenAI and Anthropic are making it so incredibly easy to just drag and drop files to create a custom GPT, what is stopping a law firm's office manager from just building their own custom chatbot for free on a Tuesday afternoon? Why would they pay a freelancer a monthly retainer?
It's a great question, and it comes down to integration, liability, and proactive optimization. Yes, the office manager can make a basic conversational bot, but can the office manager securely integrate that bot via API into the firm's highly regulated legal CRM? Can they program guardrails so the bot doesn't accidentally dispense binding legal advice, which could result in a malpractice suit? Can they set up the webhooks so that when the bot qualifies a lead at 2 a.m., it automatically checks the senior partner's Outlook calendar, books a consultation, takes a credit card deposit via Stripe, and sends a prep email?
Okay. The office manager's not doing that.
Exactly. You are not selling a chatbot. You are selling a fully automated 247 lead generation pipeline. Let's stick with the law firm example. These are high-value ticket businesses. If a boutique personal injury firm misses a web inquiry at 10 p.m. on a Saturday from a potential client who just got into an accident, that client is going to Google the next lawyer on the list. That single missed interaction could be a $50,000 case gone to a competitor.
So you, the entrepreneur, build the comprehensive integrated bot.
You build it, you install it, and you lease it. You charge a $3,000 setup fee to handle the complex integrations and guardrails, and then you charge a $500 monthly retainer for maintenance, server costs, and hosting the bot. You do this for 10 different law firms or 10 different high-end real estate brokerages, and you have built a highly stable recurring revenue stream of $5,000 a month that requires almost zero ongoing daily maintenance from you.
You become an infrastructure provider. That is brilliant. Okay, let's move to category 9, AI research tools. From a technical standpoint, the ability to ingest and synthesize hundreds of complex documents in seconds is practically a superpower. Imagine you have 50 distinct 100-page PDF reports on the global supply chain of rare earth minerals. An AI research tool can read them all instantly, cross-reference the data, and give you a synthesized summary of emerging trends, geopolitical risks, and key financial metrics.
This raises an important question for the entrepreneur. Who highly values that kind of rapid, deep synthesis?
Investors, venture capitalists, corporate strategists, people making high-stakes financial decisions.
Precisely. And this is where independent analysts are building incredibly lucrative consulting businesses. They are using these research tools to offer rapid due diligence services for private equity and venture capital firms.
Let's break down that workflow. What does a due diligence sprint look like?
If a private equity firm is looking to acquire a new tech startup, they need to understand the competitive landscape, the patent filings, and the market viability extremely quickly before another firm swoops in. Historically, they would deploy a team of junior analysts to spend 2 or 3 weeks reading market reports, scraping data, and writing a 50-page brief. Today, a solo independent researcher, powered by AI synthesis tools, can ingest all that same data and deliver a comprehensive, heavily cited, highly accurate due diligence report in 48 hours.
The speed is the value.
The client is paying for the velocity of insight. You can charge $5,000 to $10,000 for a single comprehensive report because to a firm about to deploy $10 million in capital, a $10,000 fee to get critical insights 2 weeks faster is a rounding error. It's a massive competitive advantage for them.
It constantly comes back to the same theme. The human expert applying the AI tool to solve a high-value, high-leverage business problem.
Always. Which leads us to the final tool in our framework, Category 10, AI Productivity Assistance.
Now, this category feels different. We are talking about tools that sit in the background of your operating system. They read your incoming emails and draft contextual replies. They manage your complex scheduling. They join your Zoom meetings, transcribe the audio, identify the key action items, and automatically add those tasks to your project management software. It's like having a top-tier, proactive executive assistant.
It is very easy to look at this category and dismiss it as merely a nice personal benefit. Oh, it makes my day a little easier. It saves me from typing a few emails. But from a rigorous business perspective, the monetization strategy here is fundamentally and mathematically about one thing: capacity.
Break down the math on that capacity.
Let's look at the fractional CMO we discussed earlier. If you are charging clients $4,000 a month, your income is still strictly capped by your available time. If you spend 15 hours a week doing the meta work of business managing your inbox, scheduling client calls, writing follow-up summaries, organizing your CRM, that is 15 hours a week that you cannot dedicate to deep, billable client strategy.
You are bottlenecking your own earning potential with administrative friction.
Exactly. By deeply integrating AI productivity assistance into your daily workflow, you are essentially cloning your administrative self. You eliminate that bottleneck entirely. If those 15 hours of meta work are handled by AI agents, those hours are given back to you. You can use that newly freed time to take on 2 additional fractional CMO clients.
2 more clients at $4,000 a month is an extra $96,000 a year in revenue.
Precisely. You literally increase your top-line revenue by nearly 6 figures without working a single extra hour, simply by optimizing your personal operational capacity. The assistant isn't just a convenience, it is the fulcrum that allows you to lever up your earnings.
Okay, let's take a breath and look at the whole board. We have just covered 10 distinct categories, moving from the creative generation on the front end, writing, design, video, marketing, through the heavy operational lifting of coding, automation, and analytics, all the way to the intelligence layers of chatbots, research, and personal productivity. This naturally transitions us into Section 5, the Great Debate. As we look at the next decade of the digital economy, moving toward 2030, 2035, and beyond, how will these tools truly shift the balance of power?
The Source framework invites us to debate this, and I think it is the most critical strategic discussion an entrepreneur can have today. Because while all 10 categories are currently powerful, they are not going to dominate the economy equally over a 10-year horizon. Some will commoditize and some will compound.
Well, I'm going to take a hard stance here. I passionately believe that the creative and development tools, the front-end generation tools like video, coding, and design, are going to completely dominate the global digital economy. Think about the historical constraints of creativity. The people with the most brilliant, world-changing ideas were rarely the people who happened to possess the millions of dollars and technical skills required to execute them. If you wanted to make a high-fidelity animated film, you needed a studio. If you wanted to build a complex software platform, you needed an engineering department. Now, a single creative genius with an AI video generator can create a media empire from their bedroom. A single visionary with a coding co-pilot can build the next Uber. We are entering the era of the one-person unicorn company. The sheer volume of high-quality products being pushed into the market by empowered individuals will be the defining economic engine of the next decade. The ultimate value will always reside in the ideas and the content generated.
I hear your enthusiasm, but I have to aggressively push back on that thesis.
Let's hear it. Why am I wrong?
What is fascinating about your argument is that you are focusing entirely on the visible tip of the iceberg and ignoring the massive economic problem that infinite creation causes, the problem of noise. Yes, the creative tools are incredible, but if everyone on Earth can suddenly create a high-fidelity animated film or code an app in a weekend, the market becomes instantly, infinitely saturated with content and software. When supply goes through the roof and reaches infinity, the monetary value of those individual, standalone creations is driven relentlessly towards zero.
So you were saying that because content is ubiquitous, it becomes economically worthless. That is a grim outlook for creatives.
It's not grim, it's just the reality of supply and demand. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the true generational wealth over the next decade will not be captured by the people making more content. The dominators of the 2030s will be the people who operate in automation and analytics, the back-end tools. When there is a flood of AI-generated content, apps, and media, enterprise businesses will be desperate for efficiency, routing, and signal amidst the noise.
I see where you are going. You are invoking the classic gold rush analogy.
Exactly. In the California gold rush, the vast majority of prospectors panning for gold went broke. The people who built generational wealth were the ones selling the shovels, building the railroads, and assaying the gold, the digital plumbing. The greatest wealth in the AI economy will be generated by the systems thinkers. Those who can automate complex global supply chains, who can use massive data analytics to find a 1% efficiency gain in a billion-dollar logistics market, who can build the interconnected, secure APIs that allow legacy banking systems to survive the AI transition. Content will be cheap to the point of being free. Operational efficiency, security, and data synthesis will be absolutely priceless.
That is a remarkably compelling counterargument. If everyone is armed with an AI printing press, the person who owns a distribution network and the map of what people actually want to read is the one who controls the market. The front-end tools might make you a very successful six-figure freelancer, but the back-end tools, automation, analytics, secure architecture, are what allow you to build structural, indispensable value for enterprise clients.
That is exactly the distinction.
I want to throw this debate directly to you, the listener. Consider your own professional background, your natural aptitudes, and your career history right now. Which side of this debate aligns with your inherent skills? Are you naturally a creative visionary, an idea person, someone who can leverage design, video, and marketing tools to build a massive audience and a brand, outcompeting the noise through sheer quality and unique perspective? Or are you fundamentally a systems thinker, someone who looks at a chaotic corporate process and immediately wants to organize it, who can leverage automation and analytics to optimize operations and sell efficiency to legacy businesses?
It is the most critical self-assessment you can make, because the landscape is too vast. You cannot master all 10 of these categories. You will spread yourself too thin. You have to identify your natural leaning and choose your specific leverage point.
Okay, as we wind down this incredibly dense deep dive, let's move into our outro. We need to ground this in some geographical realities because the source framework provides a very specific regional analysis. It focuses strictly on the opportunities for professionals operating in the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia.
Yes, and that focus isn't arbitrary. There are very specific macroeconomic and structural reasons why these 4 regions are perfectly positioned as ground zero for these specific freelance and entrepreneurial strategies over the next 5 years. First, they are highly digitized, mature economies. The infrastructure for cloud computing, remote collaboration, and digital payment processing is universally established and trusted. Second, they are primarily English-speaking.
Why does the language matter so much when translation tools are so good?
Because English is currently the native foundational training language of the most advanced large language models. While they are multilingual, their deepest nuance, logic processing, and idiomatic understanding occur in English. This gives professionals in these regions a slight but significant edge in complex prompt engineering and immediate tool utilization without friction.
And what about the actual client base in these regions?
That is the most vital piece of the puzzle. These regions possess incredibly high disposable income, not just at the consumer level, but critically for B2B services. The small and medium-sized businesses in these countries, the boutique law firms in Sydney, the advanced manufacturing plants in Ohio, the scaling e-commerce brands in London, the logistics firms in Toronto, they actually have the operating capital to easily pay a $5,000 monthly retainer to an AI automation consultant or a fractional CMO. The economic environment is uniquely ripe for these high-margin, low-overhead digital services.
The blueprint for 2026 isn't a theory. It is already being written and executed right now in these specific markets. The legacy businesses that adopt these tools via savvy freelancers are going to outpace their competitors exponentially, and the individuals who learn to wield these tools as a specialized service are going to capture incredible value.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the transition we've analyzed today is merely phase 1. We have spent this entire deep dive discussing how you can use AI tools to serve human clients, optimize human businesses, and sell to human consumers.
Right, the human is always the endpoint of the transaction.
For now. But as you consider which of these 10 tools to master, consider this final thought. The next frontier, the phase that our sources are just beginning to model for the 2030s, is the rise of AI to AI commerce.
AI to AI commerce. Explain what that looks like.
Imagine your custom-built lead generation chatbot doesn't interface with a human customer. Imagine it interfaces directly with another company's AI procurement bot. Your AI is negotiating pricing, delivery schedules, and contract terms with their AI in milliseconds based on parameters you set. What happens to your freelance data analytics business when the software you build is entirely designed to optimize the trading algorithms of other autonomous agents? What happens to the noise of content creation when AI agents are the primary consumers, filtering data for their human users?
That is a staggering thought. You aren't just selling the shovels anymore, you are building the autonomous robots that use the shovels.
Exactly. The systems you build today to serve humans will be the foundational architecture for the machine-to-machine economy of tomorrow.
I want you to really mull that over. Look at the 10 categories we broke down today. From writing and design to coding and automation to research and analytics. Don't try to boil the ocean and learn them all. Pick the one category that aligns with your skills, dive deep into the specific monetization strategies we discussed, and start building your service model this weekend. The future is moving faster than ever, but there has never been a more empowering time to be an independent professional. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep exploring, keep questioning the baseline, and we will catch you on the next one.